Tell y'all how Rock got away with this shit.
Mike Live, live. Fade the music going out for me one time. What's up with it, man? Y'all tapped into Live at 5, man. Pretty much at 5 o'clock today, nigga, right on time, you know what I'm saying? I know I usually do this shit on Mondays. Had a few hang-ups, didn't really make it on Monday. Shout out to all the people who did hop in the nigga inbox, though, and was serious about they nigga tapping in, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate the love to know that motherfuckers do look forward to this, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all tapping in with a nigga, you know what I'm saying? Glad, which drove, you know, made me push hard to be here today, you know what I'm saying? Had a good weekend, flew to the East Coast, caught a Washington Wizards, Boston Celtic basketball game in Washington, double overtime. You really can't beat that, you know what I'm saying? Double overtime. To be there in person, so you can imagine how intense that environment was. That was dope. Shout out to Washington. Shout out to Baltimore. Nigga had an excellent motherfucking little trip, you know. But leaving to fly to the East Coast, you know what I'm saying? My Lyft driver asked me where I was going, and I told him I was headed to Baltimore. And he told me he spent some time there. He was actually from South Africa, which was a trip because he was a white guy who, if I looked at him, I would have thought he was Russian. I would have thought he was a Russian dude. But he was actually from South Africa. I forget the actual country or city. But it was something I had never really heard of, but he was white, and he was from South Africa. So when I told him I was headed to Baltimore, he told me that he spent some time there, and he had this experience here, which was a trip. So I just want to explain to y'all what he told me. He was at the Stratosphere. If you're familiar with Las Vegas, the Stratosphere is that high building that looks like a space, like the Space Needle in Seattle. You know what I'm saying? You can take the elevator up. They got a dope ass restaurant that spins in a circle, and you can see the entire city. So he says he goes, and he's catching some type of show. There's some type of event or some shit he doing at the Stratosphere. He says while he's there, though, he notices this young lady that's extremely attractive to him, beautiful. He sees the guy. This is Las Vegas, so it's a lot of these motherfuckers who run around with roses and shit at everything that you can buy for your girlfriend or buy for the motherfucker you think fly. So he really thought she was beautiful. So he had a little mac in him. He had a little bit of mac in him. So what he did was, he found the guy with the roses and he bought every single rose from the guy. Went over across the room to the young lady and gave her all of these roses. She was with two friends. She was with two other young ladies. He gave her all the roses, told her, you know what, I really think you're beautiful. My name is this. She tells him her name. They talk. But he didn't get her number. He says she didn't really seem too interested in him. You know what I'm saying? She didn't seem too interested. But she did thank him for the gesture. You know what I'm saying? She thanked him for the gesture or whatever. And after the show or whatever, they kind of parted ways. He said probably 3 to 6 months or sometime later, he's in Baltimore down by the harbor is what he said. I heard people mention it. I personally, I didn't make it. I didn't make it to that area that they call the harbor or whatever in Baltimore. But he said he was down by the harbor hanging out or whatever. And he says a young lady approached him in Baltimore. And she was like, oh, my God, were you in Vegas a few months back? And he was like, yeah. She was like, I remember you. You bought all the roses for my friend and gave her all the roses, et cetera, et cetera. He was like, oh, that's crazy. How you doing? Good to see you. How's she doing? Oh, she's good. We still cool or whatever. But he said that him and that young lady actually picked up a conversation. They became friends. They began dating. And he said after probably about a month or two of them into their little thing, the girl hit him and was like, you know what? I talked to my friend and she's feeling some type of way about you and I dating because he tried to approach the friend back in Las Vegas with the roses and all that. And right there, it brought me to the realization of something I always say when women be like, oh, that's such and such, I used to date him, or he used to fuck with my friend or whatever. It was crazy because the girl he met in Vegas, she didn't want to fuck with the dude. He bought all the roses and approached her. He didn't want to fuck with her. So when her friend runs back into this nigga across the country and she wants to pursue a relationship with him or whatever, the friend felt some kind of way and offended by that, which kind of fucked me up, tripped me out. And it made me think about a situation that I always put people in. I ask them, if your friend is happily married for, let's say, 5 years, your friend's happily married for 5 years, could you date somebody that they dated once 7 years prior? Why would they care? You know what I'm saying? And the post, as those of you who know or followed it know, the post kind of went crazy. Predominantly women saying, no, I don't want to fuck with anybody my friend ever dealt with. And I never really could understand that, just based on the fact that there's already a shortage of men. Men and women are like 3 to 1 anyways on Earth. That's just the way the universe and Mother Nature works. There are more women born than men anyways. Then you factor in the men who are taken, the men who are in jail, the men who are gay, the men who are murdered. You factor all that shit in. And then you take something like the fact that you have two friends. Let's just say you have two friends. You're 30-something. You got two friends, though. You can never date anybody that those two friends have dated before. So if they've dated 2 guys per year for the last 10 years, that's like 20 guys per friend. That's like 40 guys in your city that are off limits. That's kind of crazy to me. That's like 40 niggas that you cannot deal with based on the fact your 2 friends have dealt with 20 niggas over the last 10 years. 2 guys, that's just 2 guys a year. What's that, bro? That's just 2 guys per year for each girl for 10 years. That's 20 niggas that are off limits to you now. Even if she's happily married for 5 years, she don't want you dating one of her exes. That shit kind of fucks me up. But that's kind of the majority of the women on my timeline. That's kind of the mentality they had. And that's something that I call the old sweater syndrome. It's like when you had this sweater and it was a bad motherfucker, you loved it, but your ass got fat. You outgrew that motherfucker. You can't wear it no more. But it's still in great condition. It still looks wonderful, and it's going to look wonderful on somebody else. Let somebody else have that motherfucker. Quit holding on to that shit that you know you will never be able to fit again. You know what I'm saying? But I had a bunch of people tell me they had situations where sisters dated exes and got married. I had some motherfuckers tell me they had situations where friends dated exes and it worked or didn't work. people who never spoke to each other again because of an ex. And it's like, if that's your ex, and I also said kids and rings was off limits. So if it was a motherfucker you were married to or had children with, that's off limit. I'm not talking about them. I'm just talking about somebody that they casually dated for a while 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 7 years ago. I'm trying to understand why that's off limits. The number's going across the screen, 818-900-4662. Somebody tap in with a nigga, man, and let me know how y'all feel about the situation, because I had a lot of opinions in the comments. Okay, Dietrich speaking in reference to the guy in Baltimore. Yeah, that was kind of crazy. He never dated the lady. The lady wasn't even interested in him. And she was just kind of jealous that her friend would pursue what clearly was a nice guy, charming, witty, definitely, because he bought all the roses. That kind of fucked me up. I don't understand why the friend would be offended. You had action. You didn't even want him. You never even pursued a first date with him. You know, I don't really understand that. I don't really get that. But while we wait on one of y'all to call in, I'll read some of the responses and answers. Oh, I got a call. We got a call coming in, bro. I'm seeing one. Caller, you on the line? What's happening with it?
What's going on, man? This is Big Ron.
Big Ron, what's happening with you, boy?
Man, trying to stay out the way, man. But this topic is near and dear to my heart.
Okay, man. Let us know what's going on, man.
All right. So the plus side, I call it an alley-oop. You know, I was dealing with this female. It wasn't really working out, you know. And I know my partner, he was on the same shit she was on. I was like, man, you know what? You need to holler at her. They've been married 15 years.
Damn.
You know, so I hurt. You know, if you ain't got no feelings for the person, no animosity, it shouldn't be no issue.
Right.
Now,
and it wasn't working for y'all. Yeah.
Now, my personal story.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now my personal story, when the girl that I was dealing with for 4 years when I was in the military, I ended up coming to Fresno. Me and her was entangling the shit out of each other, so it was just toxic.
Right.
So I had a house party, and we wasn't together no more, but I had a house party, and then she brought a couple of her girls over.
Right.
And I was like, damn, who is this? And she was like, oh, that's my homegirl, you know, blah, blah, blah. You could talk to her. I don't care. So I was at her. Right. And then it was going cool. She was like, nah, you blah, blah, blah's ex. It ain't going to hurt. It's the girl code.
Damn.
But I was like, I wanted her.
Right.
So then 10 years later, hella exes, a baby, all kind of shit happened in 10 years. I ran into her again on Facebook. And I was like, look, you ain't talked to old girl in 10 years. She married. What's popping? Me and her been married 10 years now.
Hello. We got a success story. Let me get a round of applause for that. Hold on. Let me get a round of applause for that. Hell yeah, man. We got a success story, man. That's what I'm talking about.
And I told her, you fucked off 10 years that we could have been on added to what we did now.
Right.
Trying to keep the girl code.
Trying to be loyal to your friend. And you said her and the girl ain't even friends no more?
Or
they not as tight as they used to be?
At all.
That's crazy.
Well, that's my little personal story.
Man, I appreciate you sharing that with us, because I got my own little personal things I've had happen in my life. I don't really want to share them because I don't really want to offend a particular person I know that support my shit. But I'm glad that she can also see that this is kind of a common thing. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of motherfuckers really be blocking their blessings, or just like some people don't even like the same TV shows. You might be physically attracted to somebody. I like how you look. You like how I look. We having sex. But at the end of the day, we don't have the same goals. You want to buy a house. They don't even really want to buy a house. They think a 30-year loan isn't something they want to get into. You like football. Right. She fucking hates sports. She hates when you have it on the TV. She hates when you go to the game. She grew up in a Niner household, or whatever. Like, it just be a lot of conflict. So it's like, why not find somebody that match what you got going on? And for her, the same. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people waste a lot of time. And like I said, that ratio of, if you got two. So imagine if your girl code is 5 girls. You got a circle of 5 girls. Y'all the crew. Y'all go to all the parties together. 5 girls with 2 dudes. Some girls might date 3 guys in a year. But I'm just saying, if it's 2 dudes per year, over 10 years, that's 20 niggas. If it's 5 of y'all, that's 100 dudes they just eliminated in a small ass city like Fresno. Because every time you say you met a guy, he's nice, he looks good, he's handsome, he was nice to you. one of the 5 friends is going, oh, I used to date him. I used to fuck with him. And so he's off limits. That's crazy to me. But I appreciate you tapping in with me, bro.
I appreciate that, man. Keep it up, man.
Yes, sir. Man, as y'all can see, we just had a success story. And he told a story on both sides of the spectrum, you know what I'm saying? Where he actually told a friend, you know what, bro? She's kind of more into the shit you into. And they've been together. Then he had the same situation where somebody told him, I can't date you because you used to fuck with my friend. Ran into her 10 years later, 10 years that he felt was wasted. And the shit worked. And they've been together all this time. So he actually had 2 success stories, you know what I'm saying? I had some people with some wild, crazy, opposite of the spectrum stories. I hope they tuned in because I was supposed to be live the other day. So I hope I didn't miss out on them stories. Even if I did, I'll go back and read their comments because some of the comments was crazy. I had sisters that kind of went through some shit that was crazy. Even if you had a one-night stand with someone I know, you're off limits. That's Nargis. I can't pronounce your name, baby. I probably battered it. But Nargis says, even if you had a one-night stand with someone I know, you're off limits. That's crazy, though. The young lady whose comment I just read, let me know. Are you in a serious relationship right now? Because you might have missed your knight in shining armor because he had one drunk night 7 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Don't miss your knight in shining armor. You know what I'm saying? And fellas, don't miss your queen. You feel me? Because of some shit that a nigga really wasn't taking too serious. That's just my opinion of it. Other people see it another way. She had her chance and she blew it, her fault. You know what I'm saying? We got anybody else who want to call in and share an experience with us? The number's 818-900-4662. The phone line is open. I'm going to go read some of these comments. That was kind of wild in here. If I can pull them up fast enough. Feel free to call, though. Tap in with the kid. I missed some good ones. I had some motherfuckers with some crazy shit to tell. I had one young lady say she's still looking for the friend who fucked her man. She's upset. And it wasn't even her man. She's still looking for the girl who's sleeping with her ex. And it's crazy because she's bisexual. So she had a friend who went behind her back and slept with one of her boyfriends and then later turned around and slept with one of her girlfriends. So she mad. She says she gonna definitely put hands on her whenever she get her hands on her. You feel me? My boy Rendezvous says ex-wives and baby mamas are the only things off limits. We agree with that. No rings, no children to be involved. Ashanti said, personally, I wouldn't mind if a friend did that to me because I'd be minding my relationship at that point. But I could imagine it would be weird for them having your best friend know your personal business about the person you're dating. Like, who wants to date someone who knows what your partner's sex is like or being called the cute names they used to call you? And that was one of the things that always seemed to pop up, the whole sex shit. So it's like with black people in general, it's what I like to call dick and pussy shit. The sex shit is immediately one of the first things that comes into play. The sex shit. I'm not fucking after her. Most people, I'm not fucking after him. Like, black people always put the sex shit first, top tier, first. And it's like, if you're trying to build a relationship and really be with somebody, that sex shit should be the 20%. And the relationship and y'all getting along and the shit y'all trying to build should be the 80%. But we, for some reason, we always seem to put that sex shit right at the front door. I'm not fucking you, you fucked her. That's crazy. We always seem to do that. Carol Whitty says 7 billion people in the world. I would personally never. But there are not 1 billion people where you live. So that city you live in, there are not a billion motherfuckers. Barely a million motherfuckers. Then you factor in racial divides, the people who are already married, the people who are gay or whatever they are. You know what I'm saying? The people in jail. Your chances are a lot slimmer in finding that love of your life if you're eliminating them rapidly based upon the fact that they might have dated somebody else you've dated before. And then it's like, just because I dated somebody don't mean we had to be doing a whole lot of fucking. Well, if they was fucking with me, we was doing a whole lot of fucking. But I'm just saying, not everybody's just doing a whole lot of fucking. You know what I'm saying? Heather, thank you very much. Marla Escobar says, I have only 2 niggas I give a fuck about if my friends fuck with. Everybody else, I don't care. That's because I have went to hell and back with those 2. Oh, Maria Escobar. But Maria, you care so much about these 2 guys, it didn't work with them at some point. So I'm not saying the year after, but I'm just saying, let's say you find this guy that's everything to you. You find the love of your life. You find a guy who's like the 2 of those guys that you give a fuck about so much. He's like the 2 of them combined. Y'all get married. Y'all have kids. Now 6 years has passed. 6 years has passed. One of your friends meets one of those guys at a bar. It's been 6 years. They can't date a motherfucker that you know what I'm saying? I can't understand you still thinking about this motherfucker that it didn't work with. Unless you think there's a possibility that if this shit doesn't work, I can always go back to Eric or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, if I was the man in a relationship like that and my woman threw some tantrum in the house with me and I'm like, what the fuck is up with you? She's like, Kim is fucking with my ex. And I'm like, what ex? The nigga Joe that I stole you from? No, Joe was 2 years ago. She fucking with Deshaun that I fucked with in junior college 9 years ago. Like, I'm looking at this bitch crazy. Like, bitches, you still sneaking and fucking with this nigga or what? Like, I don't really understand it. You know what I'm saying? Old sweater syndrome. You motherfuckers is holding on to the wrong shit. Especially if the relationships didn't work. On the flip side, if I never cared about the person, I wouldn't care. My friend would know if I really cared about them. However, the few people I really call friends wouldn't go there. Luckily, I don't call too many people my friends, so that eliminates too many people. And that's the other thing. The friends that you really call friends, you believe wouldn't go there. But that's the problem. Sometimes you motherfuckers who are the friend should be trying to recommend certain motherfuckers from your past. Because it's like a cheat code. You already know who's hardworking. You already know who's a gentleman. You already know XYZ about somebody. Just like my guy said, he knew it. Me and her don't get along, bro, but I know the perfect girl for you. Like, you motherfuckers would be good for each other. He could have kept that to himself. He could have been like, damn, him and Kim would be good for each other, but I ain't letting this nigga fuck with my ex. He wasn't a hater. He recommended her. So a lot of the people who say that, my friends wouldn't go there. Your friend wouldn't go there, but you as a friend might need to say, hey, you know what? You and Steve both fucking like those weird ass mystery novels and shit. You might need to fuck with Steve. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. A lot of your friends low key, it be low key hating. You know what I'm saying? Because some of the relationships and situations wasn't even that deep. As soon as you say, oh, that nigga kind of cute, first shit out her mouth, I used to fuck with him. That nigga ain't, you feel me? But they shit wasn't even that complex or that deep. Maybe they did fuck around once or twice, one night stand or whatever, but not deep enough for you not to be seriously involved, build some shit, buy a house, be married, have kids. Like, that's a whole nother level of a relationship. Every relationship you have was not that motherfucking deep. And a lot of people is really, it's a lot of cock blocking going on both sides of the ball. Hold on to the wrong shit. You feel me? But the phone line is up, 818-900-46-6 Deuce. Tap in with me. I would love to hear some more perspectives on this. I definitely would. Marcia says, I agree. Who really cares? Marcia, I believe you said you had a situation similar to that. You kind of had a situation, I think I seen you in the comments. I'm not 100% sure. If you don't mind, hit the phone line, 818-900-4662, and share your little experience with a nigga real quick with the audience. A lot of people be a little shy. They don't be wanting to jump right on the phone or whatever. Everybody seemed so ready the other day, so I'll take half the blame for not going live the day everybody went up. You know what I'm saying? But hit that phone line and tap in. In the meantime, let me go find this story. I seen a crazy story, so let me try to find this example for y'all. As always, though, my Cash App is running across the bottom of the screen. All I ask y'all to do is support me with a $1 donation each week. $1. Diego Red 1 at Cash App. And check it out. If you can't afford to give me that $1 donation, all I ask y'all to do right now is just share the live. Share the live for your boy, man. I'm just trying to keep this shit going. You know what I'm saying? This shit's not free for the nigga to do. You know what I'm saying? It take a little bit for me to do this each week, and I'm trying to keep the good content for y'all. So support that Cash App down at the bottom, or share the live. And if you really fuck with me, do both. Share the live and hit me with $1 donation. You feel me? That's all I'm asking for. Let me try to find this comment. I want to find a comment with the sisters. 818-900-4662 though is the phone number if you do have an experience you'd like to share. It's also brought to you by Lit Mix. As a matter of fact, run that Lit Mix commercial for me, bro, while I look for this story.